Big time. All right, so I'm going to talk about beyond cup holders and clusters, automotive experience design. We all live in the greater Metro Detroit area, whether we like to admit it or not, and cars are something that most of us have probably worked in some way, shape, or form in our careers. Jonathon, Baugh, experienced architect at Pillar. I solve people, technical, and business problems and have done quite a bit of automotive design in my past. So I'm going to talk about a few lessons that I've learned. Now, the interesting thing about the automotive industry is no longer are we designing just for the wheel. We have gone beyond the wheel, right? We might not even have a driver in an autonomous space anymore. So it isn't just designing a neat little cluster. But it's more than just beyond the wheel, it's actually beyond the cabin. If we go out and we buy a Tesla, our ownership experience begins with our mobile app, where we are able to interact with our vehicle from the comfort of our couch. Whoa, whoa, it's even beyond the car. When we talk about mobility in the autonomous space, we're interacting with vehicles through Uber, through Lyft. Without even having to own those vehicles, we're selecting which type of car we want to get to. So the question is, how do we design and test for users and the ecosystem of cars and mobility? I'm going to argue it's between mindset, space, and tactics. So I'm going to give you a few lessons that I've learned. First of all, from a mindset perspective, don't keep doing what you're doing, right? The auto industry is a great example of, hey, if you're in the business of selling buggy whips and wagons, you were out of business a decade ago or a century ago. So what we do want to do is think about things like design thinking and other techniques. We heard yes and just before. We've heard about some of the other how might we and other ways to really think about divergent and convergent activities. So design thinking is a great toolbox full of a lot of different tools for how we might approach problems. And along those lines, I even want to think about seeking value, not just features. Old auto industry is all about, again, cup holders, clusters, feature, 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 feature. Instead, we want to think about what's the value. Now, that doesn't mean we want to try and do everything at once. We want to try to really back it up and only solve one problem at a time. Really keep it simple. Too much can be not a good thing. So again, solve a single problem well. In the auto industry, we've got a lot of examples of, hey, we're going to take you into a laboratory and we're going to test this one thing. That's probably a good approach, but we need to refine that a little bit more. That might be a little too simplistic. So when we do that, we want to be iterative, right? We want to take a problem, we want to start it on something like paper prototyping, a little higher fidelity, and eventually we're going to get to something meaningful in an ecosystem. We can't think in model years, we've got to think much more in functionality or in value beyond functionality. Another don't, this is getting into space, is don't live in a laboratory, right? Our users do not live in a laboratory. You don't drive a car in a lab. This is a fake environment, it's manufactured. So instead what we want to do is we want to get out there and we want to guerrilla test. We want to absolutely try and meet our users where they are. This isn't just in a vehicle. We do want to release our inner George Costanza, ask lots of questions, do ride-alongs. But we also want to go out, get in front of coffee shops, rough prototype, bring what we learn back into a war room. This is different from a lab because a war room is a safe space where we can collaborate. We can do our design thinking, we can put our ideas up on the wall, work together. Moving into the tactics, we want to make sure that we don't compete with consumer products. Consumer electronics are a great example where the auto industry is trying to have their infotainment systems mapped to what the latest iPhone does. You're gonna fail. So instead what we want to do is we want to back up and really understand the user. If we can think about what the user's doing, why they're doing it, what they want, probably what phones they're using, we'll understand their needs. And that's the most important thing. Once we do that, then we can implement smoke and mirrors to rapid prototype. We can, behind the curtain, whatever we need to do, and test that one feature for the automotive space, learn from the users, get feedback, and then learn and build and implement. When we do that, we're going to be able to value or honor that knowledge, whether it's qualitative or quantitative, pull that together, and help inform our process as we move forward. Ultimately, at the end of the day, what we want to do is learn from others. There are countless people out there in a much more rapid cycle than we have in the auto industry. We want to learn from that, adopt that, take advantage of that as much as we can. So with that, I am out of time, and hopefully that was interesting to you. So thank you.